want to see Robert Pattinson's Batman cross over into the DC universe with everything James Gunn is creating. I said it. I really said it. BD here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And in this video, we are talking about why I think it's a good idea for Robert Pattinson's Batman and the world of Gotham that Matt Reeves created in The Batman and now The Penguin to open its doors to join the DC universe that James Gunn has created with Creature Commandos, and we've got a peek into with the Superman trailer. And I'm even kind of convinced that once you hear me out all the way through, that you might actually agree with some of these points and think this could work in the end. So go ahead and share your vehement disagreement with me or your friendly thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel for more videos and conversations like this one, and let's jump in. First of all, let's take a look at everything that's been said and not said about the possibility of Robert Pattinson's Batman joining the DC universe so far. First, James Gunn announced Batman the Brave and the Bold as a DC universe movie when the Gods and Monsters slate was revealed years ago now. Director Andy Muschietti has since shared in 2025 that the movie is delayed and he'll be doing a separate project in the meantime, unrelated to the whole DC franchise. The same day that interview clip went viral, it was revealed that The Batman 2 was delayed to October of 2027, thus making producer Dylan Clark and I's interview from the Batman premiere a lie. This one took 5 years. How long does it take to make a second movie that lives up to this quality again?
I will go on record saying it will be less than 5 years.
Ahead of Creature Commandos releasing, James Gunn had talked to Josh Horowitz on his Happy Sad Confused podcast and told Josh that he considered bringing Pattinson's Batman into the DC universe, but is committed to telling Elseworlds stories. And everything that he had said up to this point was pretty consistent, that he wasn't going to make Matt Reeves or Robert Pattinson's Batman join the DC universe, and there would be separate things going on. But following those delays, it does seem like maybe things have shifted a little bit. The Batman architect himself, Matt Reeves, is a producer on the DC Universe's dynamic duo animated movie, which is currently slated for release in 2028, and he's a producer on the live-action Clayface movie, which is set in the DC Universe with David Corenswet's Superman. Then Creature Commandos showed a Batman silhouette in its penultimate episode. Now this Batman looks beefy, much more like an Alan Ritchson type of body build than a Robert Pattinson type of build, but Gunn told Rotten Tomatoes that he didn't want to commit to a design, so he kept it as more of a silhouette shot than anything we would be able to take anything too firmly away from to inform the future. And finally, Josh Horowitz asked Matt Reeves if his Batman, played by Robert Pattinson, could potentially be joining the DC universe that James Gunn has created, and this is where the shift kind of came in. Reeves said it's a possibility if it makes sense. So can it make sense? There's a lot to unpack there, but first, while I was preparing this video, I have to say I was interrupted by several spam phone calls and text messages, and that takes me right out of my ability to focus. But every time my phone rings and it's a number I don't know, I look at it and I go, oh, do I have to answer this? Is this real? Is this someone important? Is this the next big opportunity? If you're anything like me, you may have been in that situation as well. Aura, the official sponsor of this video, offers a data broker opt-out feature which helps less of your data be exposed online to prevent those spam alerts from ever reaching you in the first place. Aura offers services which protect you from scams, spam, identity theft, and more. They offer a VPN for extra encryption, financial fraud protection, antivirus software for your devices, 24/7 US-based customer support, and more. If you head over to aura.com/Brandon Davis by typing this into your browser or clicking the link in the description of this video, you can start a 14-day trial and start taking the steps to being more secure with your information online right now. And now listen, I know the world that Matt Reeves has created in The Batman and Lauren LaFranc continue to The Penguin is very, very grounded. That's a big reason why I love it. It seems very different from the world we're seeing James Gunn create in trailers for Superman and in Creature Commandos. I get that, but isn't that the way these comics work? I mean, look at Gotham City in comics. It's dark, it's grungy, it's what we see in the world Reeves created to surround Pattinson's character. And then look at Metropolis in comics. Yes, it's brighter, it's cleaner, it's got a big giant Daily Planet globe as a relic gleaming from the top of a building. And we're also happy to finally see that happening in a movie. It's going to be so cool. But I dare say both of these cities having unique and defined personalities in the movies and in this franchise is almost as valuable as the characters that made them famous having them as well. A living, breathing Metropolis that has characters as its beating heart, fleshed out in a comic booky, almost cartoonish kind of way to make Metropolis have its own personality, while what Matt Reeves did in The Batman and The Penguin, where it's this grounded, gritty, mob-like world where detectives solve everything and it's gritty and raw. That's that city's personality. They can coexist, in my opinion, and that doesn't ruin anything that's happening in the Batman franchise. Think about it this way. I talked to Kevin Feige at the Deadpool and Wolverine junket, and I asked him about Deadpool fitting in to other Marvel projects that might not be rated R, and he had a really good answer about Iron Man and Thor. Listen.
And people are going, how in the world is Thor, this Norse mythological god, going to be able to be in a scene with Tony Stark? How's that going to work? And my answer was, well, that's kind of the movie. That's kind of the whole idea, is to take these people that shouldn't be together and put them together.
I think he's right, and that same logic can be applied to the DC universe. If Iron Man, Tony Stark, whose first movie was about building a suit of armor in a cave out of metal, out of something tangible from our real world, a movie that was so grounded in our reality that it made parallels to the American war in the Middle East, could cross over with a Norse Asgardian god of thunder who flies around with a hammer in the Avengers movie and nobody even thought twice about it or didn't accept it, I see no reason why what Reeves has created in the Batman, that Gotham City, can't coexist with what James Gunn has created in Superman and Creature Commandos, but specifically Metropolis and other cities. Given how grounded Gotham City has been in the Reeves world, the first thought is that superheroes can't fit in here and that this Batman can't fit into the larger universe where the likes of Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and Superman are running around, but that's just not true. I admit, I have trouble imagining a full-on comic book accurate Mr. Freeze running around this Gotham City, or even a big giant Bane. We've already got one grounded, gritty take on Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. But there are characters like Hugo Strange and Scarecrow that could lend themselves to that world of Reeves, and I do think there's ways he could look at characters like Mr. Freeze, or Poison Ivy and Joker, and Hush, and even Deadshot and other villains from Batman's Rogue Gallery, and make a really interesting story there that gives us something from the comics and gives Batman the opportunity to be grounded before going on these super adventures where he's the grounded guy who doesn't lose himself or his character or his grit when he's interacting with the rest of the metahumans. I mean, this is pretty much what happens in comics, right? Like, Batman doesn't have superpowers. He's a human being. He's incredibly smart. He's a good fighter. He's got great technology. And Superman can literally fly and freeze things with his breath and shoot lasers out of his eyes, and nobody bats an eye in comics. And I know with Brave and Bold, everybody wants to see the Bat family. I do too. I think that could be a really cool story. But I think that through Clayface and any other stops along the way before the Brave and the Bold eventually comes out, it doesn't even have a release date right now, assuming it's not the Batman Part 2. There's an opportunity for the Batman Part 2, which is currently untitled at Warner Brothers, according to reports, to be that story. Maybe he starts forming his Bat family in the years which have passed since the Batman 1. And we know it's at least a year because of the events of the Penguin. And listen, the bottom line here is if the Batman and what Matt Reeves is doing never crosses over with the DC universe that James Gunn is creating, we still win. We get two Batman. One is going to be very gritty and raw and amazing based on what Matt Reeves has already put out, and the other is going to be very comic booky and probably beefy and cartoonish and awesome and fully realized, and it's a win-win either way. But I do think that if these franchises, if these characters, if these actors don't end up crossing over, I will forever be sat here wondering what could have been. Now, maybe if they don't cross over, whatever happens in the DC universe is so good that I'm like, you know what, they made the right call. It didn't matter. What happened is probably better than what could have been. It's a real possibility. And then we win because we get the Batman trilogy and we get a Batman in the DC universe interacting with all sorts of heroes and villains. I just think it would be really cool. And I have no doubt that given the movie business is a business at the end of the day, a conversation hasn't at least happened after the Superman trailer got a very positive reception. I just hope that if they are doing this, James Gunn has been silent about it since saying no, and Matt Reeves has been mostly no, it has to make sense. Please don't say anything. Let us speculate. Let it be a surprise. Let me be sitting in a movie theater and see them cross over and lose my absolute mind. That would be the best case scenario for this crossover. Let it be a surprise. In a world where scoopers and rumors and leaks spoil everything, if they're able to pull this off, if it happens at all, that would be amazing. What do you think? Should Robert Pattinson's Batman in the world that Matt Reeves has created in Gotham cross over with James Gunn's DC universe with David Corenswet's Superman? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Please keep it friendly. And subscribe to the channel for more conversations like this one, exclusive interviews, Phase Hero, and more. I'm BD. I'll see you in the next video.